Everyone has heard of Julius Caesar, Roman general and politician. He was born on 100 BC, and assassinated in 44 BC. But do you know about these 10 facts? You should. 1. Caesar became a priest. At the age of 16, his father died suddenly, making him the head of the family. He decided that joining the priesthood would be the best career choice for his family. So he managed to get nominated as the new high priest of Jupiter. As a high priest of Jupiter, Caesar was not allowed to touch a horse, sleep outside of his own bed for more than 3 nights, or look upon an army. He also had to be a patrician and marry one. So he broke off his engagement to a plebeian girl and married Cornelia, daughter of Cinna, his uncle's ally against Sulla. So how could he become a general with all these religious rules? Well, when Sulla won the civil war against Caesar's uncle, Caesar was forced to flee Rome, stripped of his inheritance, his wife's dowry, and his priesthood. Thanks to his mother's family and the Vestal virgins, the threat against him was lifted. 2. He received military distinction for his courage in battle. Feeling unsafe in Rome, in case Sulla changed his mind, Caesar decided to join the army, which was previously closed to him. There, he earned the prestigious civic crown for his courage at the siege of Mytilene. And when Sulla died in 78 BC, Caesar returned to Rome and became a prosecutor, known for his oratory skills. 3. In 75 BC, when he was 25, he was captured by pirates. He was on his way to the island of Rhodes, a renowned center of learning, where he planned to study with Apollonius, a Greek rhetorician whose students had included Cicero. On the way to Rhodes, his ship was hijacked by pirates. According to Plutarch, when the captors asked for 20 talents of silver, Caesar laughed at their faces, saying they didn't know who they had captured, and demanded that they ask for 50 talents of silver, about $1.2 million today. While his associate went to gather the silver, Caesar, still a prisoner, treated the pirates as if they were his subordinates. He spent his time composing and reciting poetry, writing speeches, and playing games with them. Even though he appeared friendly to the pirates, he promised them that he would hunt them down and crucify them as soon as his ransom was paid. And when he was freed, after 38 days, he immediately prepared his revenge. He quickly raised a small fleet and led it to the island, capturing the pirates who clearly hadn't taken his threats seriously, and also got his silver back. He then delivered the pirates to the authorities, but the proconsul wanted to sell the pirates as slaves to have the profits for himself. Caesar ignored him and ordered the pirates to be crucified. As an act of leniency, he cut their throats before the cruel punishment. 4. He had a bridge constructed over the Rhine in only 10 days. Between 58 and 50 BC, Caesar conquered the rest of Gaul up to the river Rhine. There, the Germans were threatening to invade. In 55 BC, to demonstrate the strength of his army, Caesar had a bridge built in 10 days, crossed the Rhine, burned a few villages, and then crossed back and dismantled the bridge. 2 years later, he did it again, each time proving that the Roman army could go anywhere. It was during the conquest of Gaul that he invaded Britain twice, making Rome's first invasion of the British lands in 55 BC. He also captured Vercingetorix after winning the siege of Alesia in 52 BC. Caesar paraded with the defeated Gaul during the triumph in 46 BC, and had him strangled shortly after. 5. Caesar started a civil war when he crossed the Rubicon River in 49 BC. After his term as governor of Gaul, the Roman Senate, led by Pompey, commanded that Caesar disband his army and return to Rome. Caesar, suspicious of Pompey because he was his political rival, decided to rebel against him. Just before crossing the Rubicon, he said the famous words, "Alia jacta est." Caesar was winning the battles, and the civil war ended at the end of the year 48 BC, when the child pharaoh Ptolemy VIII gifted Pompey's head to Caesar, in the hope of preserving Egypt from Roman invasion. 6. He introduced the Julian calendar. During his term as a dictator of Rome, Caesar decided to reform the calendar. At that time, the Roman calendar was based on the moon, and Caesar's new calendar was based on the sun. He set the length of a year to 365.25 days, and introduced leap years. The month where he was born got named July in his honor. This calendar is named the Julian calendar, and was changed and improved 16 centuries later, to become the Gregorian calendar, that we use today. 7. A comet appeared after his death. In July, after his death, a bright, daylight visible comet appeared for 7 days. Suetonius, a Roman historian, wrote, "A comet shone for 7 successive days, rising about the 11th hour, and was believed to be the soul of Caesar." This event led many Romans to believe it was a symbol of Caesar's divine ascension. And it led Caesar to be the first Roman to be deified in history. 8. He was the first Roman to have his portrait minted on coins while he was still alive. This widely exchanged image served as propaganda for Caesar's power and influence. While the adoring public may not have minded, this act was most likely regarded as an unacceptable act of arrogance by the Senate. Collectors today are willing to pay thousands of dollars for one of these relics. 9. In his will, he gave money to every Roman citizen. His will stipulated that 300 sesterces were to be given to the Roman plebs, designating not only the Romans, but also the freeborn citizens resident in Rome. As Augustus himself notes in his Res Gestae, to the Roman plebs I paid out 300 sesterces per man in accordance with the will of my father. That was about 3 months' wage of a craftsman. 10. Caesar was a talented writer. Julius Caesar was not only a political genius and military leader, he was also a creative and talented writer. He wrote about his military conquests, speeches, and even dabbled in poetry. Caesar even published a joke book. They weren't his jokes, but he was a fan of humor. So, Caesar had a scribe follow Cicero around writing down his best witticisms, which he assembled into a book. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.